Hi, everybody. Happy Monday, and welcome to another edition of my Make It Monday, where each Monday I share with you some of my projects I'm working on or a technique that I'm intrigued with in hopes that it would inspire you to do something creative this week as well. Hope you had a great weekend. Can you believe this is the last Monday of April? And pretty soon it will be May, and which means that the new catalog will be unveiled. Here it is. So following the catalog launch, it also means our annual open house, and you are all invited. More details are listed in my events section, and if you would like one of these little flyers so that you can share it with your friends, which I would appreciate, just message me and I will send you one. So the date is May 13th, and it's going to be held at the Sinahania Mayor's office. There's some rooms there, so I'm sure we will post and put signs up so that you won't get lost there. So it's kind of centrally located. So we'll see. It's a new place. We're excited. I'm working with Becky again for this open house, and the usual, we'll have projects for you to work on. There'll be displays, and of course there'll be food and raffle prizes and just having a great time crafting with fellow like-minded crafters. So anyway, the cost is $25, but $10 of which will be credited towards your order when you place it within like a few days, I think by Monday. So it's a great deal, and I hope you'll join me. And be sure to invite a friend, all right? So again, our catalog open house is May 13, and it's from 2 to 5. 2 to 5. Details will be in my events section, or if you have more questions, please do message me. And anyway, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm already working on it, and excited about it. Yep. New catalog is always exciting. Anyway, thank you to those who are joining me today. I hope you will leave a message to say hi so that I know that you're here, and I want to thank you for joining me today. One more thing, May 3rd, let's see, I think, oops, what's the date? May 13 minus 7, May 6th. May 6th, I have another class. And, oh my goodness, my brain. May 6th, I have a class. It's a kit class, and you will be able to work on some new kits that I have. One of the kits is this kaleidoscope. I have plenty in stock, and I will also, keeping my fingers crossed, that the shipment for the other newer kit will be arriving. So anyway, hi friend, thank you for joining me. And then as a bonus, I didn't even think to put out a sample, but as a bonus for this class is we'll be making one of those basket woven cards that I showed in the last Make It Monday, I think it was. Anyway, so it should be fun. It's always a great gathering of whenever there's stamping involved. And of course, I'll make a treat. How's that? Okay. Anyway, so that's, I think, all the housekeeping that I need to discuss with you today before we dive into today's project. Anyway, so for those of you who follow my my channel, you'll know that I love doing challenges, and especially the card templates. And this week, the TGIF challenges, which I follow, their theme is a technique called partial die cutting. And for those of you who are experienced stampers, this is probably a technique that you already know, but when was the last time you did it, right? So similarly for me too. So it kind of got my wheels churning in my brain. And so that's the idea behind today's video session, Make It Monday session, is we will explore some really simple partial die cutting techniques to get you started. So if you are a newbie, we'll get you started. And if you are not a newbie, well, time to take that technique out of the inventory and work with it. All right. So I I guess without further ado, let's switch the camera around and let's get working. Let's see, where is that button? Here we go. Yeah, it's always hard to remember where the button is to turn around this camera. Okay, so where do we want to start? So the first thing I want to share with you is, for me, the partial die cutting, I usually use it for a Z-fold card. It works really well for a Z-fold card, okay? And so let me show you how to start. And for a new beginner, I would recommend choosing a shape that's pretty solid with very few, what do you call it, curves or something. So I went ahead and picked out this square one, okay? So to start out, to prep your paper, so this is just a regular card size. This is 5.5 by 8.5, right? 4.25. So for a Z fold, you know, this is half. So I've kind of cheated a little bit and pre-scored just a little bit here. This will be 2 1/8, I believe, and 1/8, yes, here, okay, to give it the half. So let me bring my die cutting machine here, okay. Now, as you know, I usually gravitate towards really simple cards. So you might be saying, hey, what's up, Sandra? This seems pretty complicated. Well, it is and it isn't. It is complicated in the sense that you need to, there are things that you need to be aware of, but it's not in the sense that once you know how to do it, you will get you need to get the hang of it, out of it, right? Okay, so what you're going to do is, so this is the card, right? So you know that once you score this, this is how it closes, right? So with a Z fold, the front here is going to be folding it this way, right? So here we go. Okay, so you want to put this in the middle, right? So let me see here, middle. Is it in the middle? I'm not very precise. I really should be more precise, but you know what? My style is I just wing it, and if it messes up, it messes up, right? Nothing is perfect. So although I will want to put one of these washi tape here just so that it doesn't move too much, okay? Now, the thing about partial die cutting, obviously, is, you know, for a regular die cutting, you're die cutting the whole thing, right? Partial, as it means, you're only partially die cutting. So the part that is not underneath this is the one that's not being cut. So with this particular card, as I said, I've already notched where the halfway mark is. And so that is where I'm going to put my plate up to. Okay, there you go. So you see this? So which means as I'm rolling this, this will be cut, but this will not be cut. Okay, you get it? So, and I've been experimenting because, as you know, the Stampin' Up! Plates are beveled. So I believe the beveled area is not cutting. So you want to line up your line where the bevel starts. If you look at your plate, you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I think this is pretty much squared. Okay. Okay, and in we go. Okay, there we go. So let me put this away. So as you can see, only half is die cut. And then what we're going to do next is we're going to score it so it will fold in the middle. So I got this camera in between this. Okay, so there we go. So I just wanted to make sure that we are Okay, pardon my head if you see my head. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna fold, actually, might, okay, we'll see how that goes. Okay. I think that's good. Yeah, that should be good. Okay, so what's gonna happen is, here we go. Yay, right? So of course, I don't know where my bone folder went. Ay, ay, ay. So there you go. So normally when you do a Z-fold card, I would imagine you would just go ahead and fold it, and then you would put this focal element on it, right? But now it's kind of like a more interesting element to it, right? See? Okay, let's go finish this up so that I have a finished card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this here. And this particular paper is from 2 seasons ago. I still hung on to it because it's just such a beautiful set. And the reason I brought it out is because the corresponding stamp set and die is finally retiring. Sad. Okay. So now what I could do is just basically put this on here, right? But what I'm going to do to make it a little bit more interesting, I have a little frame that I did. And so this is what I'm going to do. Okay, so let's do that part. So as you can see, this is a really simple technique. You just need to make sure which orientation you're doing. And let me go ahead and put this on here. Yeah, because I'm finding out that if I don't finish a card online, I tend to not complete it when it's done. So I have all these unfinished cards, and it's kind of a bummer, right? Okay. So put this on here. And there you go. So for this technique, what I would do is just make up a whole bunch of it, and then whenever you're ready for an occasion that you need a card, you just plop the greeting. So there you go. Isn't that cute? So here's another one. Oops, my phone is slipping off of the holster. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so yeah, so the best, the easiest way is so that you have a die that cuts solid images. That works really well with this type of a Z-fold card. Okay, like this. This is Blushing Bride, and it is retiring. But then this is Misty Moonlight, and it's coming back. It's interesting, right? So these are the 2 cards. And it's not just for shapes like this. You can also use it with these letters. See, again, this has a background for the thanks word, so that works really well. See? There you go. So basically for this card, you'll just use a pencil mark where you want it to divide, and you just, when you are embossing it, you just only cut up to there, okay? And I will show you an example later on, okay? But I just wanted to share with you how these are images that have a background to it. So it's a little bit more solid, a little bit more, I think it's easier. It's an easier entry point for those of you who are just beginning to do partial embossing, okay? I make it look easy. Well, it sort of is pretty easy if you stick with this type of, what do you call it? The ones where there are the background, right? The blob, as opposed to just this. And I'll show you the difference. So this one is thanks, you made my day. Okay. And this one actually fits into a regular envelope. See, I made sure that it has clearance there. So that, and then of course, when I was experimenting, I kind of overcut, so this becomes a little card. Okay. Okay. So that's a simple version. Another version is, let me show you. It's probably better if I show you with a bigger die cut. So this is one of those, what's the name of this called? Artistic. I think it's called artistic dies or something. So this is a bigger one, bigger than this. What you can do with this is partial embossing means partially embossing. I mean, die cut. So I've partially die cut this. See, where's this? There we go. So instead of using the whole thing, I use only the top half or the bottom half, however you call it. Now, you might be wondering, say, well, Sandra, why can't we just cut it straight ahead? Yes, you can, but there's something about having it stuck on a cardstock without having it in different pieces, if you know what I mean. It's just a little bit more finished look. Anyway, I'll show you how this is done. Okay. Before I move on, I also want to show you another way you can do it is you can make it so that you can make a label out of this, right? So basically you are just rolling it once here and then another side here like that. So let me show you how the partial die cutting works. So let me bring back the machine. Yeah, this, you know, it looks intense, but once you get the hang of it and you figure out where to stop or cut, then it becomes simpler. I think the hard part probably to me is picking out which die cut to use for this technique, because not every die cut lends itself well with this technique. So let's see, which one should we do next? Oh, yes, I wanted to use this. Excuse me. I wanted to showcase the penned flowers die because you know what? This particular set is 60% off. Okay, even if you don't get the stamp set, the dies itself are very useful. I mean, there's this one image here. There's all these leaves here, flowers, and this border is really good too. So I'm going to show you the partial embossing with this. Okay, so this one right now is 60% off, and it's only $12, guys. That's such a good deal. So I'm going to use this, and the key to doing this partial is deciding how much you want to cut and how much you don't want to cut, because you want to be smart about it and not cut where there's lots of little pieces where you have to salvage. And let me show you what I mean by that. Where is, let me see if this is going to work. I think this will work. Yeah. So let's try. So we're just doing a sample, okay? So what you want to do first is decide where you want this. So let me bring my ruler here. And so in this particular case, because I've had time to experiment with it, I know I want to cut like this, okay? Because if I cut it any further down, there's just too much to mess around with. So I know I want to cut from here to here, okay? So I'm just going to put a pencil line here, okay? And lay this here, like for now. Let me use some washi tape. This is too sticky. See, I purposely made it not so sticky. Okay, let me see. Okay, see? So I'm going to hold it down like this. And I'm going to, let's see, which side should I do? I'll just do this side maybe. So again, the side that you want it cut, that's where you want to put your plate on. So in this case, because I want to cut this side, I'm going to go like this, okay? So again, remember, this is beveled. So from my experiment, the beveled edge, you need to make it a little bit further down because it doesn't cut there. Okay, so let's we go. Let me put this away. I mean, you know how it is when you're on live, you just don't know what's going to happen. You may have practiced this a million times, and when it comes to a live session, all of a sudden things don't work. So as you can see, you see? Partially done, okay? So let me carefully pull this away. Okay, come on, there we go. There we go. Carefully peel this off, but actually it doesn't really matter because that's the side that's going to be gone. Okay, so you probably don't want to see me poke out all these holes. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to use a X-Acto knife. So that's probably the other thing that you'll need to have is an X-Acto knife, and cut here. Okay. Where's my X-Acto knife? So usually I use this self-healing mat to cut, which I need to take this away. So as you can see, it actually, I could probably cut a little bit further down here. So I'm going to erase that line and redraw the line. See, this is all in trying to understand your machine, your plates, whether it cuts beyond or at your, so I think I'm gonna cut it right here. There we go. So let's see, yep. Okay, so pardon my head. Let me see if you can see this. I probably won't do the whole thing for you. So basically, I'm just gonna, yep, okay. So you just need to, and that's what I mean by you need to be wise about which, okay, so there. Okay, that's need to cut that a little, oh, it's done. There we go, you see? So you just need to put these out. So you need to cut these out. So this is probably the most labor intensive part of this exercise. So that's why I meant, you know, it's easier if you just pick things that don't have all these little pieces. So we're cutting the negative out. I think that's the right one. Okay. Get out, cut it out, cut it out. It's like, go, go, go. Oh, I forgot to cut that, but there we go. So let me cut that a little bit so that you can see. There we go. It's been a while since I've taken out my X-Acto knife to play with. There, it's gone. So see? There you go. It's a pretty label, isn't it? I mean, of course, I would probably clean up the edges, but so this is how it looks. And what do you do with it? Let me give you some samples. So this one, you could cut it on the diagonal, right? So for example, this is this one, right? So you can cut it in the diagonal. And this is what I did with this. Okay. So, and you can also do both sides. See? Now, one trick is, you know, if you find that you're not cutting it very cleanly, is you can easily just put a strip here, right? But So what do you think? Is this something that you will attempt? As I said, it's not really scary. You just need to make sure you remember which side of the die that you're going to put your sandwich on, your plate, so that you're cutting into the side that you want to have cut. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you the cards again. So again, this is one of the retiring die sets, the pen flowers, and it's only like $12, which is such a great deal, because as you can see, one of the dies you have is this one, and this stands alone, you know. So this one, I think I just watercolored it, but here we go. Let's show you. See? Isn't that pretty? Yeah. So this is what I mean by it's easy to work with the die cut if you have a solid image background for you to work with. And then this die set also has these flowers that you can use alone. You don't have to use the stamp set. Now this is part of the Amazing Thanks die cut. Again, is also on sale. That one is also 60% off, and it's only $10.80 right now. So it's such a great deal. It just makes it a really easy card, because boom, there's a big greeting there, and that usually does the trick, you know, when you're short on time. And there, thanks, you made my day. So let me go over. So the die cutting, partial die cutting, you can do your Z-fold cards, right? This is how I normally would do this with my partial die cutting. It's just so good. And this is great practice for those of you who are just starting out with this concept, this technique, because it's just really, you know, not detailed like this, right? Where you have to X-Acto knife out the little bitties in there. So this is a great beginner card to try out. And then once you're done, then you can move on. See, this is a nice one too. These. And then on these. Okay. Anyway, so these are the cards for today. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I hope you'll give it a try. Hope to see some of your samples. Be sure to take a picture and post it in the comments below, and share it with everybody, right? To see what you have done, what have you done with this technique. So if you have any questions, please feel free to message me. Otherwise, that's it for today. Well, thank you again for joining me. And whether you're watching this live or on a replay, please be sure to leave a comment below so that I can say thank you for watching. And for those of you who are following me on YouTube, if you have not already, please do subscribe. That way, once I upload a video, you will know immediately that I have a new video. Okay? And again, open house is May 13th, 2 to 5 at the Sinahanya Mayor's Office. And what else? And I have a class May 6th. That's a kit class with a bonus card of the basket weave. Okay. What do you guys think of my nails? This is one of the new colors, magenta, moody magenta, I think that's called. What do you think? I tried to make it like the daisies, but anyway, I don't think it looks that good, but at least the color, I think I've matched it really well. Anyway, okay, you love the yellow card, great. I think you mean this one, right? Yes. So I like it too. So this again is, let's see, where did I show you? It's basically, let me get this, yeah. So it's basically this, and then just turning it around and die cutting the other side, right? And that's what this is. Okay. All right. Thank you again for joining me. I appreciate you watching this. And if you enjoyed this and you think a friend of yours might enjoy it, be sure to share this as well. Again, I hope to see you at the open house. Be sure to sign up ASAP because we do have some early bird gifts. You don't want to miss it because it's actually kind of cute. So, and we only have limited supplies of that. So the sooner you sign up and pay for the registration, you are guaranteed you will get that little gift. Okay, so that is May 1st is the early bird special. So I hope to see you then. All right, thank you. Bye.